What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to find out if you can actually trade effectively on an iPad. From fundamental analysis to technical analysis and even the overall user experience. I'll break it all down. I know a lot of you have been asking whether the iPad is good enough to be your main device, not just for trading but everyday tasks as well. So this video should give you a clear idea and help you make a better decision. So 5 years later, I can say that iPad Pro is still one of my favourite devices to date. I've used it almost every single day, not just for trading but also heavily for creating content. And honestly, the iPad Pro has held up. It still feels fast, smooth and reliable. Now the iPad really shines when you're inside the Apple ecosystem. If you've got an iPhone, a MacBook, AirPods, maybe even an Apple Watch, everything just works together seamlessly. You can start something on one device and finish it on another. For example, I'll be checking charts on my iPad, then quickly airdrop screenshots to my MacBook for editing, or pull them onto my phone if I want to post something quickly. That fluid ecosystem is where Apple really nails it. But here's the truth, if I had to choose between the MacBook and an iPad, I'd pick the MacBook every single time. As good as the iPad is, I find tasks just so much faster and smoother on a laptop, and I can pretty much guarantee that you'd use both devices, you'd feel the same way. That's why whenever someone comments on my videos asking if I should buy a MacBook or an iPad as their main device, I always recommend that MacBook. At first, the idea of using an iPad as your main trading and work device is exciting. It looks modern, it's lightweight, and the Apple markets it almost like a laptop replacement. But the reality is, when you start doing heavier tasks, whether that's charting for hours, researching news, or just multitasking, you'll quickly realize how much more efficient the laptop really is. Now that doesn't mean the iPad is useless, not at all. I actually think the iPad works best as a secondary device. Having that flexibility to take it anywhere, pull it out quickly, and just get things done is amazing. For example, I love being able to quickly check the markets on the iPad while I'm away from my desk, or when I'm just want a bigger screen than my iPhone without carrying around my MacBook. Personally, I think the 11-inch model is the sweet spot. The 13-inch is powerful, has that big beautiful display, but I find it kind of defeats the whole point of an iPad, being lightweight and portable. The 11-inch is just the perfect balance. It's big enough to chart comfortably on, but still compact and easy to carry around. So let's answer the big question, can you trade on an iPad? Most of you watching this will probably be using platforms like MetaTrader and TradingView. So let's start with TradingView, because honestly I think the experience on the iPad is really enjoyable. The app is well designed, it feels responsive and is always being updated with new features. For technical analysis, it's actually one of the favourite ways to chart. Now if you're someone who uses a lot of custom indicators or more advanced setups, you might feel a bit limited. The desktop version still has the edge in terms of flexibility, but if you keep your technicals relatively simple like I do, the iPad version is more than enough. Drawing trend lines, marking zones and analysing price action all feel smooth and natural. Moving on to fundamentals, this is just as important, if not more important, than the technical side. Personally, I've been using the investing.com app since day one. It's super straightforward, and what I love is that it notifies you on events. You will get alerted 15 minutes before major economic events take place, which gives you enough time to prepare, whether that means closing trades or setting up new opportunities. And if you're trading without looking at fundamentals, I'd strongly recommend you change that. Economic events move markets. Even if you're new to trading, you need to be aware of what's coming so you don't get caught off guard. You can always filter events inside the app so you can see what matters to you. For example, if you're mainly trading GBP pairs, you don't need to see every single global event. You can narrow it down to UK and USD news. Now, if you want to go more in depth, you can use apps like Yahoo Finance, Bloomberg, or even Financial Times. These will give you the bigger picture of what's happening in the market. But quick tip, don't drown yourself in too much information. It's easy to get lost in the noise, reading every headline and overthinking every move. Instead, focus on the events that directly affect the assets you trade and really understand why these events matter. So between technicals and fundamentals, yes, you can definitely trade effectively on an iPad. Another thing worth mentioning is accessories. In my experience, accessories are what make or break the iPad Pro. A good stand, the Magic Keyboard case and the Apple Pencil completely change the experience. The stand makes it feel more like a mini desktop, the keyboard turns it into a laptop alternative when you need it, and the pencil is great for charting or making notes directly on screenshots. So if you're thinking about using an iPad for trading, I would highly recommend investing in at least one or two of these accessories. It just makes the whole experience much more enjoyable. That being said, let's be real, most of us place and manage trades on our phones anyway. It's just the most convenient way. You always have your phone with you so you can quickly check trades, open or close positions, or adjust your stop loss on the go. The iPad is great for analysis, but when it comes to execution, the phone wins for its convenience. If you're relying on your iPad to manage trades, it might not be the smartest setup since you won't always have it within reach. Now let's take a personal example. There have been plenty of times where I've been out and about, maybe at a coffee shop or commuting to work, and the iPad was the perfect middle ground. It has a bigger screen than my phone, it's way easier to analyze charts on, and yet it's still portable. But if I was at home and had access to my MacBook, 9 times out of 10 I'd use the MacBook just because it's more efficient. The balance you have to look at is what role the iPad will actually play in your trading setup. So to wrap this video up, the iPad is definitely capable of handling trading. If you're buying one solely for trading, it's a fantastic device. Whether you go for the latest model or an older version, you won't run into major issues. But if you're looking for a main device to do all your trading, research and other tasks, I'd still recommend a MacBook over the iPad. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. If you made it this far, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.